Give you just a little bit of background before I jump in. I am a practicing architect, and I'm practicing trying to bring all this together and really put it into what we're doing every day. And the sensory environment, and that's really what this is about, is we're taking the neuroscience that's out there and really bringing it back to the basics of just our senses, and only 5 senses right now, and really trying to put that in what we're doing. I have a dream. I have a dream one day that I'll be able to ask a question about design, and it'll be answered through the science that we're talking about today. The dream that one day I can ask a question about a component of a building or something that we're going to touch or smell or hear or taste and understand exactly what that does to us. So, but why? Why all this? Our company is a for-profit company, but we give 50% of our profits away. And we do that with our clients and in the communities where we live and work. And, and we work for a lot of Native American tribes. We're in the hospitality business. We design and build and procure for things like casinos and hotels. A lot of what we haven't talked about at all here, any of those types of projects. But in the Native American community, one of the big things is youth in the Native American communities are 9% or 9 times more likely to develop some form of diabetes. We want to change that. And we want to change that, and you say, well, how do you do that on a hospitality project? Well, we want to change it through some of the things that we're doing, and creating memories is one of those. There's 17,500,000 hotel rooms in the world. That's an estimate. And so we design hotel rooms, and they're pretty intimate spaces. So, the anticipation you get of going to a hotel, and you go and check in, and then you have your stuff, and you get to the door, you're fumbling for your key, and you get your key card in there, and I've got all this stuff, and then I got to really jam the door to get in and push it, and then I get in, and then I'm looking for the light switch. We're going to talk about just that experience. It's a pleasant experience, right? Well, BMW actually has engineers that design the sound of the click of the door handle and when the door shuts. Wow, what do we get from that? Well, we know we probably get a little bit of dopamine from that. We get a little boost. We get something for the anticipation of getting to drive that car. Well, why shouldn't we get that from a door handle in a hotel room? Why shouldn't we get it from a door handle in a house or anywhere else that we're going to experience? So what we're really working on is the practical application of that. So we have a hotel that we're designing right now. It's in Natchez, Mississippi. If you don't know where Natchez is, you can look it up. It's a historic little town. It's a hotel that's been around since 1927, and we're redesigning it. And what we're trying to do is look at what is that experience I just mentioned. How do we, as an architect, and I'd love to have a neuroscientist walking alongside me in each one of these questions, but how do we do this? So obviously what we want to do for our clients is we want to create great experiences and great memories. We want them to come back. We want a customer to come back. We want the employees to feel like this is a great place to work. And we can do that through the people that we hire for those places, but we also can do it by really thinking about and really studying the spaces and places that we're creating. I'm sure that most of you have seen one version of this, but just the perception of our minds can't change the fact that room is not really a rectangular or room, and that the kids aren't really changing their height. Taking that in, just by the way, none of these buildings are our buildings. I'm just showing them as images. So, light is another thing. So when I walked in the hotel room and I finally got through that door, and the closer's so tight on those things because the code says we have to have them closed all the way, and people won't close them. We get in, then I'm looking for the light switch, and I can't find the light switch, or I turned it on, and it's actually connected to a lamp that somebody turned off, and it's not, it's not one of those. That's not creating a memory for me. It's creating a memory for me, but it's creating a memory that I'm going to take back and not tell the good story that I want to tell. Same thing with scent. So we give presentations to CEOs of larger companies and Native American tribes, and about some of this. We're trying to help educate those that we get to work with about what we've talked about all the last 3 days here. And we're trying to just give them that basic education. So what we do is we kind of immerse them in a sensory experience. So when they walk in the conference room, they actually smell something that's different. We use pomegranate. It's one of those that works really well. And the last CEO I had, he walked in and goes, "This room smells really good." What went on in his brain there? And do you think he will remember the presentation just because of that one thing? And, well, what can we do in the design of a hotel or any other building, an office building, that might be like that? Anybody see both things here? Most of us have seen this one. Another way just to bring up in a practical way, there is a rabbit. It can be a duck too. So if you don't see both, that's what those are. What about taste in a hotel room? Anybody ever had a chocolate on the bed, or maybe a turned down service, or maybe you walk in and you get a fresh hot cookie? Why are we doing that? What difference does it make? And we'll go tell a story about that place because we had something that was like that to eat. Something that involves our brain, really kicks things off in our brain and creates a memory or an experience. Most of us can watch this video and actually kind of feel that. And it's really interesting how our brain works to do that. You can feel it. Our skin is our largest organ. And in a hotel room, it's really intimate. From the handle, the door handle, and the way we touch it, the way it feels, all the way through to even the light switch and the click of the light switch. Most of us as architects, we kind of blow past all that stuff and we put a color board together. So here's what the wall covering is going to be, and here's what the carpet's going to be. And we miss opportunities to really impact those customers and that company or that organization that we're working for. We miss the opportunity to educate them on, let's take a little more time into the design process, and let's really think through these things. And what is the handle and the sink that we turn on and off, and what does it feel like? Sorry, I missed one. And then this is obviously the sound has a big impact. So when I walked in that room, all I could hear was the sound of the HVAC unit running really loudly. And then when it went off, all I could hear was the people in the room next door or out in the hall. Again, we need to take the time to do these, to look at these things, educate our clients that we have, and help them understand how our senses really do impact the experience, whatever that experience might be. So back to the why. What we hope in those communities where we're working, we just this week picked up 2 contracts for 2 Native American companies that have asked us to walk alongside them and help them understand this in their project process better. And so we think down the road that it would be great to have a neuroscientist on our teams when we go into these projects. And we realize neuroscientists, some of you focus on just vision, but we think that through this process that we can educate the rest of the world. We can change the way we do architecture. Instead of doing everything based on theory, we can do it based on scientific facts. Thank you.
What you're doing is creating a Kansai design engineering of hotel rooms, and I wanted to ask you whether you've ever heard of that term or field, because Japanese Kansai design, BMW borrowed that when they started the whole program with their handles and clicks and everything. And if you're going to get somebody on your design team, get someone who can read Japanese, because there's wonderful work done on in the Japanese Kansai design engineering that has already looked at dwellings and apartments and things like this that I think will be very valuable and helpful to you. But
Thank you.
I strongly encourage you to proceed in this direction. It's been proven valuable in other contexts.
Thank you.
Any other? All right. So our last contributing paper. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, where?
Here.
Ah.
Here, one more question. For the scent, you started off not talking about a hotel room, but about a lecture theater. And you said sort of in a passing way, well, you might remember the presentation better. So do you have any experience that tells you that you might remember someone's presentation or any other content better if it's linked to a particular scent?
Well, yeah, we do know that our strongest memory sense is our sense of smell. And yes, I've gone back actually and done these presentations and gone back and asked people what they remembered most about the presentation, and every one of them remembered pomegranate. So, yeah.
Right.
All right. Thank you again.
Did they remember the content of
They
the...
did. Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's important. It was the most, strongest memory.